we doing, boys and girls? Good morning, good morning. I'm just getting things set up. I'm running a little bit late. I kind of got slightly distracted. I started making stupid TSM groups and then completely forgot that I was meant to be streaming. So yeah, I'm running a little bit late. But we are ban free. This is a this is a ban free. Oh god, drama. Dear Lord, we'll talk about the drama in a minute. Hang on, let's get stuff sorted though. Okay then. Okay. Right. We're good. Free hashtag free K-check. Free what? Look. Well, that's not the right screen. We were on the right screen. Look. The reality is that sometimes Blizzard's ban waves are not what you would consider fair. Fairness is a little bit different, you know. There is a ban going around for those who are playing catch-up. Some 4-day bans have gone out. For some people, some 4-day bans have been dished out, and it was supposedly in line with the Severed Threads rep. That if you were deemed to have more Severed Threads rep than you probably should be able to have, it was pretty blanket ban, which is a bit of a shame considering a lot of people have been caught in the crossfire by the looks of things. But there are some more guilty parties out there than others, without a doubt. I don't particularly want to spend the entire stream speculating on who got banned legitimately and who got caught in the crossfire. All I will say is there were definitely some casualties, and it's a bit of a shit situation, but yeah, we'll see. All I can say is with pretty strong levels of confidence is that it has absolutely nothing to do with any form of Artisan security shuffle. That's entirely legitimate and has not caused anybody any significant problems. The bans have been all somewhat related to the Severed Threads rep. If Blizzard deems you have too much of it through whatever methods, and they deem that you not only have too much of it, but were in a position to do something about it, but didn't, the reality is they consider that an exploit, which is a bit of a shame. The collateral damage seems excessive. This is always the problem, right? Their ban system seems to be far more automated. It seems to be very much a case of they've just looked at every single account. They've looked at exactly how people on every single account have acquired the reputation that they have. And if any of it was under the purposes of, you know, abusing a system, they've just nuked everybody, which is a bit of a shame. And yeah, it's quite clearly going to have caught some people in the crossfire. Anybody who had more than one account active whilst doing it should have been banned. That's it. Well, no, not really. Not really. The reality is there is terminology regarding exploitation. If you stumble across a bug and you're like, huh, that shouldn't have happened, you need to then not do it again. Like, is the answer here. Oh, could have been banned. Sorry, yeah, I misread that. But yeah, anybody that had 2 accounts open ran the risk of getting banned there. But like, yeah, it's a shit situation. The reality is it's a shit situation. Some people got caught in the crossfire. Getting rollbacks would have done the job. But like I said, there's different levels of severity to it, right? different levels of severity. If you were blindingly aware of the fact that having multiple accounts open was giving you multiple times the amount of renown, you should have potentially done what you needed to do to limit that. The reality is pretty simple. Even if you stumble across a bug, and even if it's entirely accidental, you need to take precautions to make sure that you don't accidentally repeat that bug, potentially numerous times. And unfortunately, sometimes people get caught in the crossfire. I even logged out after the bug, got the ban anyway. Yeah, it's harsh. I'm not lying. I'm not discounting the fact that some of it's harsh. The reality is it's a 4-day ban. You can appeal, but I'm going to be honest with you. In the time it takes Blizzard to do customer service things, even if you appeal the ban, your ban might have expired by the time you even get the appeal through. It's a shit situation. Yeah, I can't lie. Will they get their renown reset after the ban has gone through? I mean, we don't know. They did say they'll roll back stuff, so I'm assuming they will. Your ban appeal would reach a human by season 2. Probably. Anyway, we don't need to talk about bans all day. I need to cycle through my characters first thing and see if I've got any work orders. We have a skinning fella to go and kill on a few characters as well. Crafting orders, anything interesting? Any knowledge points? No knowledge points. Couple of artisans acuities. Not that I need artisans acuity for anything. I guess we'll leave them be. Does this skinning dude have the ability? No, he's 5 points short. He's 5 points short. You'll have to wait till next week. Unless I can do something to get the faded skinner's notes. Oh, we do have 200 artisans acuity. Do I want to spend that 200 artisans acuity on getting my skinner one extra beast hide? I don't think I do I really? I think I'd rather just wait till tomorrow. Because that artisan's acuity is probably going to be more useful to me making a second tool, isn't it? We've got a resourcefulness tool. It's probably useful to spend that artisan's acuity on making a second tool, maybe a multi-craft tool. Although we are going into prospecting aggressively, which doesn't mean we need much multi-craft, but maybe when we then dive into making vials or something. A bit of multi-craft wouldn't go amiss on these things for sure. Alright, we'll save that. That actually means there's not much to do on this dude. Good. Next. Use excess acuity to buy the recipe bags. I mean, not now. It's entirely, like doing that a few days ago, sure. You could absolutely have done that a few days ago. The value in those recipes isn't ludicrously high anymore, I don't think. Four-day ban is one thing. I can't join the first heroic raids with my guild, but no problem. Just don't want the strike on my account, to be honest. Never done anything wrong before. Yeah, the reality is it feels pretty heavy-handed. It feels like it was just a blanket ban for anybody that gained more rep than they should have done, which is a harsh way to deal with it. But it's a 4-day ban. It's literally no biggie. It genuinely isn't no biggie. Which character's this? Blacksmithing. I seem to be getting like 50 FPS and I don't know why. Crafting orders. 5 patron orders. Sanctified Steps and Everforged Longsword. We looked at these yesterday, didn't we, and determined that we can't do either of these. Sanctified Steps is a recipe that we can just go and get, but it was far too goddamn expensive. It was like 30k for the 30k for it or something. It's a big thing if you didn't exploit it intentionally. Yeah, it's like I said, it's heavy-handed. It's heavy-handed. It's heavy-handed. This is the problem with Blizzard doing their bans on a algorithmic basis. They determine everybody's guilty before proven guilty before proven innocent, unfortunately. Like I said, it's heavy-handed. But like I said, it's also a 4-day ban. It could have been a lot worse. 4-day ban's a long weekend. I know it's not at the most convenient of times, and it's frustrating, but think yourself lucky if World First Raiders are not getting banned. Every chance the bans would be longer. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's heavy. My point is with this, people are going to be pissed. Some people exploited and got banned. Some people don't feel like they exploited and got banned. Some people gained accidentally and got banned. An algorithmic automated banning system is not perfect. But I don't know what to tell you. There's literally nothing I can do. It feels heavy-handed. It's not particularly fair. People have abused it to get Renown 24 with the 7 threads and risked a huge gain for only a 4-day ban. They'll take the risk on the next exploit that's a relative slap on the wrist. What most people don't realise is how bans work at Blizzard, right? Like, there'll be some people that got more than a 4-day ban, by the way. Because bans often work on a tiered level. If you have been banned previously, in recent times, your ban would have not been 4 days, your ban would have been longer. But your account can be put back in good standing if you are, you know, squeaky clean for a certain period of time. Most people got 4-day bans because it was their first quote-unquote offence. Next time, if you were to early exploit often next time, it might not be a 4-day ban. A lot of people play the dumb card, but they knew it was exploitative. I'm sure there is. At least don't stream it. Well, exactly. People who are actively live streaming it, like, knew what they were getting themselves in for. Dredger's plates, sabatons. We can make these relatively easily. Do we want the 10 artisans acuity, though? Is there much value in that 10 artisans acuity to spend heftily? I don't think there is. I'm not going to bother. That's this dude needs to go do his skinning though, right? I need to put skinning on the bars. No, he's still missing points too. He's also still missing 5 points, with only 1 point available from a knowledge book. Do we have any knowledge books for skinning? Probably not. That can wait till next week. Okay, I've set up some of these skinners, but I'm having to wait until next reset for knowledge points to be able to do anything convenient on them. You have to check the meme out somebody made using an old Tom and Jerry cartoon. Links. Oh no, this is the clip of him very clearly noticing it on stream and just continuing anyway. Oh dear. Oh dear. Sure. Alright, fine. Sure. Right, tailoring. Let's go and have a look at tailoring. I think this is the fella that has got skinning set up properly. Yeah, this dude has got skinning set up, so we'll go do this in a minute. Crafting orders. Patron orders. What we got then? What we got then? Gloves of the Woven Dusk. No learny recipe. No learny, no learny. Anybody know which renown level people got? I don't think it's that. I don't think that was quite exactly how they tracked it. Chef's hat, recipe unlearnt. This one's easy enough to do, but it's only 10 artisans acuity. When does this expire? Considering that's only, oh, that expires by next reset. Do I want the 10 artisans acuity for 160 gold? Sure. Provided all the mats literally didn't. In fact, no, this literally doesn't cost me a bean. So I'm actually going to make gold on this one. Holy smoke, would you believe? Made gold on a work order. Sheesh. What do you want? Secondary stats. No can do. No can do. Right, let's go grab a beast hide. In other news, who's spotted the storm dust change? I'm sure many of you have.
Must be protected.
In other news, they're going to be adding a shatter to the crystal, to the shards. Gleaming shard stonks, yeah. Randomly got rep because they were crafting on another character at the time and then did nothing with the rep. That is no advantage to goal makers. Yeah, welcome in, K-Chak. I can imagine you were a touch frustrated last night when you got that. I started the stream by saying that some people have clearly got caught in the crossfire with this. In a way, I'm just very lucky that I wasn't running more of my accounts at the very beginning. Otherwise I'd be in the same boat. It was the phrase I've used so far is pretty heavy-handed. An algorithmic ban is always going to cause some casualties, which is a shame. Dust though, dust might end up being a little bit more favourable. I was looking at this more yesterday, and I'm not on my enchanter right now to showcase it very well, but I very quickly came to the conclusion that the amount of tier 3 dust that's currently in existence is not enough to last more than a couple of days. I am so fortunate though that I spotted the change, or the blue post that's basically stating that they're going to be adding adding a shatter, solely because I actually I was nearly about ready to drop about 10 million gold on storm dust yesterday, because I was like, there is absolutely no way this storm dust is going to last more than 5 minutes. But, of course, with a shatter coming in... Now, what we don't know exactly how many... We don't know exactly how it's going to work. We don't know if... Oh, shit, it turned up behind me. We don't know how many shards we're going to get. Sorry, we don't know how much dust we're going to get per shard. We don't necessarily know if it's going to be equal, like, one quality for one quality, or what the case is. But, I suspect it should take some of the weight off. It should take some of the weight off bismuth. If it's going to be 1 to 1, I'm going to laugh so hard. My guess is it'll probably be 1 to 3. Well, 1 to 3 is historically what they've done. You take one shard and break it down into 3 dust. Is what I suspect will probably be the case. The point is that any sort of speculation on materials is all very much guesswork anyway. Since, as it stands currently, materials are all over the place anyway. Literally all over the place. Things are going up, things are going down by the day. I think the market's about to turn on its head, honestly. I think we've had so long since the expansion's actually been out. Like, we've actually seen markets stabilize, which is wild. That shows how long the game's been out. If it's been out long enough for markets to stabilize, we know the game's been out too long before we get, like, the actual raid. Way, way, way too long. I'm pretty sure...
I have an extended supply of goods for outlanders.
I'm pretty sure if we didn't have early access, things would have been a little bit more wild in terms of pricing, but...
My
You've actually sold all your bismuth? I still haven't sold anything yet. I've not made any changes to my plans. I do kind of think I have too much storm dust though now. Since I do think that both demand for it will go up, which will push the price up. But I think there'll equally be enough of a push from the top down as well to make it very much guesswork where the price of storm dust is going to go. I saw some people panic selling it all yesterday, getting out while they could. I don't know if that's the right move or not. Not convinced. Do you think the hotfix will come out in time for NA reset? I don't know. They didn't. I think they very deliberately didn't put a time frame on it. Rolling Thunderstrike Talons, don't have that recipe. Rune Branded Legs, don't have that recipe. Not doing great with these work orders. Do we want more Artisan's Acuity though? I don't think I do. I'm not at a point where I need any more. Unless there's something very specific I'm chasing. I haven't got my bag, actually, for leatherworking. That needs 150, so there is still some reason to grab a little bit if it's cheap and not too hard to get. Both of these, quality 3s, easy peasy. You haven't provided anything, though. Alright, we can give these a go. Storm Charge Leather. What was it I needed? Storm Charge Leather. Oh, flipping hell, I can't remember what I needed. Some sort of hide. Not top quality ones. Have I got any basic ones? No. I've only got top... What? 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 Oh no, I've got a bunch in my bags. It's fine. No reason to use Q2 unless we have to. Do you have an add-on that shows you what rewards you get in the patron orders? Yeah, no mats, no make. No mats, no make. I'm sitting at over 100k Q3 dust for crafting this week. This change could cost me a small fortune. Let's see how it plays out. Well, I did some calculations yesterday and came to the conclusion there was about maybe 1 day's worth of storm dust in existence. So I still think the demand for storm dust is going to go through the absolute roof. I'm still not even sure a shatter change is going to do too much because it's still going to take people. It's still going to take people a huge amount of time to process through all of that, I would guess. And the reality is I'm sure a handful of people just hoovered up all of the cheap cheap shards, sorry. And just blasted the price to the moon on them. So the perceived value of crushing crystals when the hotfix comes out probably won't be that good for most players anyway. It'll just be a handful of people that will make a small fortune off buying them cheap. This dude doesn't have a secondary profession right now. I was kind of half thinking about setting these fellas up with tailoring, just as a bulk production side hustle. Tailoring professions are... Tailoring is relatively cheap to set up. Good source of artisan security via relatively easy patron orders. And the daily bolts are going to be an easy second hustle next to the main professions. Maybe that's not today's job, though. That's really not today's job, is it? I don't think. Tinderboxes on the US has increased by 250%, though, in the last 24 hours. EU seems to be staying relatively stable. That's interesting. I still think it's pretty consistent in the EU that people are just sniping them. Anytime they drop below a predefined value, they just buy them. I'm still convinced we're going to see a huge dump of tinderboxes in the next few days. But it'll flip. It'll flippity flop, right? You'll get some people that will panic sell them. You'll get people that will panic dump them tomorrow. You'll then have that second wave of people that will be able to buy that initial dump up. They'll be able to hoover them all up, go yoink, claim them. These are mine now, thank you very much. And then if there is any scarcity of them in like a week or two's time, like actual natural scarcity, then, you know, there's always moves. Bob and weave. Again, no knowledge points. I can fill orders for... What am I missing? I'm still actually trying to get up to 400 to get my last book on Inscription. I'm at 265. What's that? That's actually not that far away, is it really? Which means for the price of these... For the price of these, we should probably make them. We make quality 2s by default, so that's pretty much as cheap as we make it. Oh, actually provided the shadow inks. No writhing samples. Where have my writhing samples gone then? Ha! No writhing samples. How's that happen then? If only there was a conveniently positioned...
needs to be at least 2 centuries old. If you find anything exotic...
What profession's given me the most gold so far? I would, well, it's difficult to say. Technically tailoring. But that's not so much because the profession itself has done really well for me. More it's the fact that it's kind of the one I've focused on the hardest. I've had max build tailor for over a week. And so just by proxy of that, it's done well for me. Overall, though, I don't think I'm actually winning even overall. It's difficult because obviously I've spent a lot of gold leveling professions, but I've also got a mountain of materials for these professions as well. You saw my warbank a second ago. Once I stop the selling, stop buying stuff all the time, and I'm just rotating through materials and selling stuff, then the graph goes in the right direction. But it's been incredibly fun all the same. Like, if the number goes up, the number goes up. It was, my original plan was not to, like, focus much on actually making gold much before the season starts. But it was to get all my characters, like, in line, in order. You know, get their knowledge points, get their spec trees up and running. Like my scribe now, for example, he's got his tools. They're not hyper optimal, but he's got his tools spec wise. He's got his points in milling, got his points in inks. We're still a little bit short, to be fair, on like the actual material cost optimization. But this was always going to be the way because I wanted to push into quality 3 as quick as possible. I wanted to be able to make sure, my original plan was to make sure that I could make things at quality 3 for the launch of the season. Because I half suspected that the quality 3 markets would be the least contended. But with it being nearly 3 weeks since the game's launched, I'm not convinced that the quality 3 markets are that limited of people who have access to them. I think there is substantially more people who've been able to get their 100 plus 40 build and even most of their knowledge point books sorted, even without doing anything overly fancy. I think the quality 3 markets are going to be very saturated literally from day one, leading me more into the belief that the place you make gold is just smart investments rather than actually the crafting professions, which is a byproduct of professions being very quick to level and a large wait between the beginning of the expansion and the season starting. Nearly 3 weeks. It's like a wildly long time before anybody wants anything, which has kind of meant everything is stacked up. Everything has been cheap. There's been like if you compare the cost of leveling up your professions in like the first 2-3 days to how much it costs to level up your profession now, it's literally like beginning of the expansion to end of the expansion price differentials is wild. Which has not meant that there's much of a barrier to entry to people getting into the quality 3 markets. Most people now, I feel, are able to go, yeah, okay, we can buy quality 3 mats, we can produce quality 3 things. We've had plenty of time to get our points in order. And I'm going to be honest, I think Blizzard have done goofed with the Patron orders. I think they've dished out knowledge points and artisan security via these Patron orders way more than they probably naturally intended. Because you get, I don't know, 10, 12 knowledge points per week per profession by doing the weekly activities. You know, pick up a few treasures, do a hand-in quest, whatever. But you've been able to get 15, 20 knowledge points a week just by filling patron orders, which has basically tripled the speed of progression of professions relative to Dragonflight. So players who have been keeping up with their professions are what I'd consider probably 2 or 3 times further ahead than where they would have been in Dragonflight at the same point. For the launch of Season 1 in Dragonflight, nobody had any clue what the hell they were doing still. And even those that did know what they were doing were still, you know, only a little bit further ahead than others. Whereas now, nearly 3 weeks of progress, 2 full weeks of progress, nearly 3 weeks if you take early access into consideration as well. 2 full weeks of like booming patron orders has in essence meant that before the season already starts, compared to Dragonflight, we're at like week 4 or week 5 in terms of like actual progression through here. There's no way players should have got this many knowledge points so far. 30, 60, 90, 120, nearly 140 knowledge points. And this is on a character that I've not really pushed. My Tailor's at like 160 knowledge points or something. Before the season even starts. That means way too many people are like fully min-maxed before the raid's even out. It's going to make it very competitive. And so this is why I've been a little bit more savvy about stocking up on some materials, because that's the only advantage you've got, really. When everybody else can guarantee things at quality 3, when everybody else has got their tools in order, when everybody else has got enough knowledge points already, the only way to stand out is to have better crafting prices. And yeah, this is where the optimization of crafting has been removed from the actual crafting and is actually more on who gets their materials cheapest wins. But the reality is you could have done all of that without even touching a profession. There's nothing stopping anybody with a bunch of gold buying up the materials and then just selling them back in a week if they go up. Let me go grab a drink quickly, hang on. I'm at 148 on Alchemy. Yeah. Pre-expansion launch, I'd run the numbers on Alchemy in pretty disgusting detail, and I calculated that you needed 160 knowledge points in Alchemy to start guaranteeing quality 3 flasks, and I mathed it out to be that the only way you were possibly ever going to do that was if, 1, your patron orders are like just ridiculously lucrative, which they have turned out to be. Keeping up with your patron orders is like 20 knowledge points a week. Or you have hyper min-maxed and done absolutely everything and then got slightly lucky with normal patron orders. As it's turned out, I think there's going to be a wide variety of people that are even going to be able to guarantee quality 3 flasks tomorrow. Because, you know, just simply keeping up day by day has put most people in a position where they'll have 160 knowledge points with their alchemist tomorrow. It's going to make it very hard to stand out. And I didn't expect it to be quite this quick. But it's turned out to be this quick because I think everybody's had so much time. So much time. I play the game a lot, and I've had the ability to do this across multiple characters. To have just done this on one character, you could easily be 100% full build min-maxed. And you could have done it ages ago. But tomorrow will be fun. K-Chak talking on his stream was interesting. He started aiming at being the best at crafting the worst items, e.g. quality 1 boundless ciphers, for example. Yeah, it's a good zigzag approach, isn't it? A lot of people, a lot of people, myself included, were like, right, we got to push into the quality 3 markets because that's. I suspected that by the time the season launched, there might not necessarily be enough knowledge points in the game for people to be able to guarantee quality 3 stuff. Looking at you, Flasks. But the point is that people have not only been able to guarantee quality 3 stuff, they've been able to do it for quite some substantial amount of time already. So even the quality 3 markets are hyper competitive already. I'm sat on 40k dust. How screwed am I? Oh, not at all. Absolutely not at all. The demand for dust is going to go through the absolute roof. Literally going to go through the roof. When you look at how much storm dust is needed per enchant, it's actually wild. You're looking at anywhere between sort of 30 to 50, 30 to 75 dust per enchant. Take a look at how many enchants are not on the market right now. Like, even if you've got a bunch of storm dust, you'll be fine. I can't necessarily guarantee where the price is going.
Sweet
but one thing I definitely can say is that the demand is going to go through the absolute roof. I have no idea how to pronounce that name, but if you just subbed with Prime, I thank you very much. I wouldn't even know how to start pronouncing that, but thank you. Storm Dust is going to be available by crushing shards. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, they're implementing a crush for the shards. But you might have also noticed that shards have also jacked up in value because they just got reset. The price of them just got reset. There'll be a handful of individuals that will make out like bandits on that one. Everybody else will just, you know, play the maths game and work out what's the best way to get the shards and the dust. This time round, it looks like you'll be able to do it all in one go. Takes the weight off Bismuth a little bit. Bismuth is already hyper competitive as it is. It's going to put the emphasis a little bit more on cloth. Because it looks like tailors will be the ones that are responsible for making most of the enchanting mats now rather than blacksmiths. Does mean the price of core alloys might have a chance to dip a little bit, which might help with the price of the overall bigger alloys also. Putting a little bit more of the emphasis on tailors to make the basic blue gear. Tailors make the basic blue gear, then disenchant it into shards. If they want crystal, if they want dust, they can break some of those shards down into dust as well. Don't forget how thaumaturgy. Well, yeah, alchemists, you know, thaumaturgy is just a maths calculation. You just need to know what the prices are at any given time and decide, right, is it profitable to turn one material into others? For Yakre, Norwegian for poultry. Oh, okay. You shall ever be known as Norwegian chicken. Thank you all the same.
Is that your wallet?
Hey, welcome in, Bear. There's a name I
Both,
can
I
pronounce. Crunchy pistachio. Definitely not a cult. Hey, whoa, what's this? Who's got the crocodile already? I forgot that crocodile. That's the trading post crocodile, isn't it? We need to go get that. We should indeed. Who's this dude? Oh, this is Enchanting. We can go look at Enchanting then. Yeah, when you start summing up the amount of materials you need for Enchanting, Storm Dust is going to get absolutely shredded. There's barely an enchant in existence that, like, if you're looking at reasonable enchants, by the way, not the trash I've got right now. Like 40 Storm Dust a piece,
sweet
75
profit
Storm
together.
Dust a piece, 40 Storm Dust, 25 Storm Dust, 30 Storm Dust, 50 Storm Dust. The big boy weapon enchants, 70 Storm Dust a piece. Then when you look at the amount of Storm Dust that actually exists, when I say exists, I should clarify, when we look at the amount of Storm Dust that's publicly available,
I have
exists is
calibrated my
a
prices
slightly
to be
different
reasonable.
question. But even at Q3, 154,000. 154,000. Divide that by weapon enchants. There's only enough Storm Dust currently listed on the auction house for 2,000 people to have a weapon enchant, by the way. Even if this is only 1/10 of the amount that exists out there. Let's say there's this is only 10%. Let's say we multiply this by 10 because there's Storm Dust hidden, right? It's still only 20,000 people can have a weapon enchant. There's more than 20,000 people that play on Draenor, by the way, to put it into perspective for people. There's more that, you know, one of the bigger servers. 20,000 people right now is nothing. And that's just the weapon enchants. Don't forget that people might want to enchant more than just their weapon. So, like, the Storm Dust is going to get absolutely shredded. The amount that's needed is absolutely bananas. When everybody starts getting gear and enchanters start turning up the crafting of their enchants, because no enchanters mass producing anything particularly right now. Not even remotely close. Nobody's making anything particularly right now. Look, like the numbers on these are going to be tiddly right now. Still, there's a few hundred listed, but these are region-wide numbers, by the way. But this is because not many people are crazy enough to throw 15,000, 20,000 sort of gold enchants on their gear right now. Rip disenchanters who went green. You realise how many knowledge points you could have had in enchanting by now, by the way. You could have easily filled that tree by now. If you've got enchanting, you could easily have filled this tree. Designated disenchant, what is it? 30, 60, 90, 120. Yeah, it's entirely possible to have filled this tree. Even Zero Shuffle Andes will have got at least this first node filled and at least their green one filled. That's only 60. That's only 60 points. There is absolutely no problems getting substantially more knowledge points than that. Also, disenchanting gives infinite knowledge points with the green dust that pops out after you get your weekly knowledge points. No. No. It doesn't give infinite knowledge points. It gives you... That is the catch-up mechanic. So if you're massively behind on what you could have gained by weeklies, you can disenchant a few more items to play catch-up, but we're not sure if the catch-up system is even properly switched on yet. Only thing I use enchanting for is disenchanting and patron orders. Haven't crafted anything since I've leveled. There's not been a huge reason to. I've not done much on my... I've done nothing on my enchanter so far. I've stockpiled knowledge points. I've kept up with my patron orders. I've leveled it, but I was kind of half keeping my enchanter in a position where if something pops off, if something is... Basically what I wanted to be able to do is quickly pivot into whichever market looks good. And I was waiting until there's actually some demand for enchants to decide what market looks good. On that note, let me double check if I've got any enchanting orders. Four. None for knowledge points, mind. Ha! Okay. Could use concentration anyway, really, but... Mana oil, ley line residue. Why am I short on ley line residue? Always short on these little silly intermediate ones. Not only am I short on it, I seem to not have any. Didn't I just buy a bunch of this? I'm convinced I just bought a bunch of this.
I have an extended supply of goods for outlanders.
I keep buying a stack of this every time I come anywhere near the auction house, but I forget to put it in the war bank. Soon I'll just have a stack on every character anyway. Oh, it was the weeping one I bought a minute ago. Is that what it was? Whoa, 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 whoa. Calm down. Don't care about those because they're only stupid augment runes. The reality is these are actually often profitable because of the value of the augment rune. I just don't care about them. 1,000 gold to craft it, sell the augment rune. It is actually money, isn't it? It is actually kind of profitable to do these with the value of augment runes. Maybe there's no harm in doing them. There's definitely harm in using stupid flipping high price dust though. Saved the dust anyway. Why is there not... Oh, there is a mailbox over this end of the world, I suppose. Why'd I only get one? I'm pretty sure I just filled 2 orders for these. Oh, because it's stuck in limbo. I have practically no use for the augment runes, so let's just get them straight on the auction house.
My directive is to sell them.
Yeah, sure, that'll do. Wow, literally within half a second of posting it. We'll take that. When you first mentioned quad shuffle for herbalists and miners, I swapped to skinning enchanting. That was on reset. I went back to enchanting last night. Disenchanted greens, got 3 knowledge points. The catch-up is there. Everybody gets 3 knowledge points. And this is because of a weird quirk with how early access worked. But after you've had those first 3, they will stop. Or at least they should. Think you should make another hunter? I'm thinking about it. Found a few thousand spools of dusk thread in my bank. Went to sell them, was surprised the prices got to 100 gold each, whilst I bought them for only 5 to 8 gold a few days ago. Both Dawnweave and Duskweave, I believe, have been the drop rates on. Well, I can't tell. I don't know if it's just the drop rates has been reduced, or whether it's that because the siege got nerfed, and the siege was like hyper overproducing them. You know, it's somewhat hard to keep track of what the farmers are doing most of the time, to be honest. Alchemy is the only profession I've not actually got my profession gear for yet. I probably should fix that, shouldn't I? I should probably fix that. I've not pushed that hard on my alchemist at all. I think I'm still missing like all 3 of the books. I technically need to go out and farm some materials, apparently, by the looks of things. I've got work to do on alchemy. Maybe I spend a bit of time on alchemy today. That might not be a terrible idea. Let's have a look at crafting orders. Everybody wants flasks. Flask of classical spirits? Oh, I don't have this one. Flask of tempered aggression at quality 3. You want me to spend an entire day's worth of concentration to get 10 artisan security? Zanzival bought up the entire Duskweave market 2 hours ago. Did he? Nice. Dawnweave and Duskweave no longer drop in follower dungeons as of yesterday. That was my little quick go-to if I wanted some cloth. Do we have like any actual blue post on this hotfix? Or is it just your speculation? How do I have so much acuity? I've played with the professions an awful lot for nearly 3 weeks now. For the knowledge point from chests, I go into Hallowfall when night changes, and there's like tens of lootable spheres for those. Oh, clever. Got flasks and bolt production to max. Have alchemical mastery at 50. Now you're leveling the herbs. Yeah, you'll need to get at least 2 of those herb nodes filled before you'll be able to guarantee anything at quality 3. But if you put points in bulk production, at least you'll be able to mass produce quality 2s at a pretty good price, I would suspect, en route to unlocking quality 3s. I'm still like 50 knowledge points away from guaranteeing quality 3 flasks. I'm very tempted to, based upon the fact that I still need my 3 knowledge points of knowledge books, I need way more artisan security than I currently have. I'm somewhat tempted to go the same route. I'm somewhat tempted to just look at mass producing some quality 2 shit. But I know just how competitive alchemy is from the word go. And I know that the fact that I haven't bought tens of millions of gold worth of herbs already is only going to bite me in the ass. So there's part of me that kind of wishes I went thaumaturgy on this character, but I've already committed to flasks, so I'm in for it for the long haul on this one. But I do need to get some basic stuff done at least. Let's let me go and get these treasures first, because it is 4 knowledge points at least. Can I wombo combo it with the inscription ones? I can. So we can get a bunch of knowledge points for 2 professions here. Secondly, the artisan security that comes from them will be nice. Cancel scan meta. Well, I don't mind that. That doesn't bother me. Just do it on another account. It's no biggie. No ban, no problem. Hang on, this feels like a raid. This feels like an incoming raid. If it is, welcome in, boys and girls. Welcome, welcome. Why is my Twitch alerts not gone off? Well, that's maybe because Zan didn't press the button. Not pushing my alchemy too far because it's just not worth it now. It's crazy how people are like... It's crazy how fast things have progressed to the point that the season hasn't actually started. And people are like, yeah, it's already not worth. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be competitive. Pushing to gain an edge is all the more critical, I think. Manthe creating a cult? Not attempting to. But, welcome in Zan. Welcome in Zan's fans. Zan's fans. Unless it is just people purely spamming. Hey! First treasure, first one. Job done. Not a cult. This is not a cult. Bear's the only one around here that runs a cult. She's got the cults on lockdown. I'm just hoping that my advantage of leveling basically every profession in a relatively min-maxy way will mean that whatever the meta is at any point, I can kind of hop on it. That was kind of my theory with this expansion. I learned from Dragonflight that if I hyper-focus on something, not only do I need to hyper-focus on it, I need to be, like, the world's best at it. And even when hyper-focusing on one profession, that's quite a challenge. I wanted to play with a bunch of different professions if I could. So that I could hop around, basically. So that when somebody turns around and says, have you seen this? Is this good? Like, I actually have a constructive answer. Or at least a semi-constructive answer. Preferably one that's based on a little bit of personal experience with it, rather than it just being kind of like, oh yeah, theoretical. I'm trying to figure out why people were getting banned last night. Those that had the patron orders exploited haven't been banned. Pointless trying to compete with those in Alchemy. Yeah, it seems very much like the mini ban wave that went out yesterday was for one very specific reason, and it was almost algorithm based. We can only hope that anybody that exploited patron orders receives a similar if not worse punishment, because the patron order one was a bit grim. Entirely possible to do it in an unintended fashion,
Both, I hope.
but maybe only once. Not to mention, Blizzard would have very defined logs on exactly who did and didn't do it. So I don't know how difficult it would be to actually police that one. You would think it'd be very easy. What did they do with patron orders? They reset them. They reset patron orders, which in essence means that, you know, you get a whole bunch more knowledge points, a whole bunch more Artisan's acuity. And not only could you reset them, you could reset them multiple times. but the process of doing it leaves a very, very clear paper trail. For reference, before anybody asks, no, I am absolutely not going to tell you how to do it. So that would be stupid. Had a guildie banned last night for 4 days. He had Renown 18. Believe he got banned for a Renown exploit. Yeah. Yeah. If you were overly... We don't know, obviously, what the threshold is, because Blizzard never tells you this sort of stuff. They deliberately don't tell you. They don't tell people exactly what it was that got them banned. They don't tell people this so that people don't figure out what to avoid next time. It's a very clear, distinct decision to not tell people. But the TLDR was that if you had more Renown than you should have done, there was a chance you would have got caught. But, unfortunately, the bug, the exploit that caused you to have more Renown was quite easy to accidentally do. And quite easy to accidentally do multiple times, which would have made you look more guilty than you probably were. Which is, has definitely caused a few people to get caught in the crossfire. Right, there's the Alchemy ones at least. I should still probably pick up the Inscription ones. Not because I need them because I'm keeping Inscription on this character, but because they're worth 10 Artisan security each. Was that treasure up there? No. I saw a glimmer of... Oh no, I did see a glimmer of purple. I didn't make it up. Did you literally nuke my pet? How very mean of you. Feel bad for family accounts. What's annoying is that they were told about it and did nothing. Yeah, family accounts were clearly going to have got caught in the crossfire with that one. If one person on one account, you know, if one person in the family is playing at the same time as another person in the family, even if they have separate accounts but are under under the same Battle.net account, which is, I should point out, entirely the designed way to do things because it allows for, you know, mum and dad to implement parental controls and stuff on the kids' accounts. It's not account sharing because they are technically, for all intensive purposes, different accounts. They're just linked to the same Battle.net. Unfortunately, yeah, in those scenarios, that's where where people do get caught in the crossfire. Now, if Blizzard are doing their job properly, you would kind of hope that they would A, overturn any bans that were deemed to be caught in the crossfire. And secondly, I would hope that they'd reimburse those players as well in some way, because, you know. Dodged the ban, but definitely picked up some extra levels from having my banker. Having my banker open whilst leveling on opening night. I was 55510 when I hit 80. The guy I leveled with was only 5555. Well, if the second character, see I think where the difference is that there are many players out there that multi-boxed their leveling experience, and so both characters were present in the same zones, both characters were completing the same quests, and that was triggering Renown presumably on both of those characters, and it was adding everything twice. And you know, there are probably likely players that multi-boxed way more than 2 characters at the same time. Because, unfortunately, as much as some people don't like it, multi-boxing isn't a crime. In fact, it's a relatively smart optimization once you start doing things at scale. Under normal circumstances, as long as you are not using any software or hardware to mimic, you know, keystrokes between accounts, you should be absolutely fine. But one of the biggest problems that we've had with multi-boxing in recent years is that people pick up false bans just because other people don't like what they're doing. And so the process has inherent risks to begin with. I now choose to not do it because it's not because it's not allowed to be done, but because it's likely to catch you. It's likely to catch you a case, irrespective of whether it's right or wrong. But I equally agree. It still sucks. I wonder if they'll tighten up on the rules. Well, the rules are pretty clear. I don't think there's anything to tighten up on. The rules are pretty simple, and if you follow the rules, there's no problems. The issue is that Blizzard has an automated ban system. That if you get player reported enough times in a certain period of time, your account just automatically gets banned. Which has been proven multiple times, by the way, regardless what Blizzard says on the matter. Which, if you're flying around on 2, 3, 4 accounts, it's not going to be very difficult for somebody to come along and report all of your accounts. And it probably only takes a few people to do the same before you're going to get an automated ban hammer, which is usually a safety precaution more than anything else. It's to push it, in theory, to a non-automated person to look at, but we don't run Blizzard, we just play their game. Ooh, a treasure one. These are kind of fun. Although my DPS is not going to be good enough to kill these dudes. Oh no. I'm only level 72. Get off me loot. Swipe and no swiping. Hands off. At least I can kind of interrupt them from stealing my monies. Okay, my DPS is way too low for this. Can you show your alchemy build? I lost 100k yesterday, took a risk on multi-craft and resourcefulness. This dude's just, well, I've not spent all my knowledge points, but I'm just going into flasks. You basically want to do one of two things. I suspect the safest route for most people these days is to put 30 points in flasks and then 25 points in bulk production. This won't mean that you're the first you won't be the first to be able to mass produce quality 3, but what it will mean is that you'll be able to make some gold on your journey there. Then you want to be putting 50 points in alchemical mastery and picking 2 herbs out of the 4 first. You do not level all of these equally. Level them to max. Pick one, level it to max. Pick another, level it to max. That way you'll be good at crafting, or the best you can be at crafting something. And by the time you've eventually filled all of those 4 nodes, you'll be able to make the alchemical chaos one at top quality as well. But that's probably still a couple of weeks away. I think it's like 260 knowledge points or something wild. Did notice ever since the time Blizzard updated their policy on multiboxing programs, tons of people have misread it as a ban on multiboxing, no matter how clear Blizzard was. It doesn't matter. People know how the automated ban system works, and they'll use it to their own advantage. You know. False reporting somebody, in my eyes, is just as bad as people doing bad things in the first place. Because people abuse the automated ban system to get other players banned. It's been done, it's more of a thing in PvP. Unscrupulous teams of people will ban, basically automatically get certain individuals banned. It's pretty cutthroat and very against the rules. But people do very against the rules things every day. Mass reporting takes place a lot in Classic for much more than just PvP. Well, I've never been into Classic, and I don't regret that choice. I tend to think the Classic community is about as... it's on a League of Legends level of toxic, I feel. Whoa. All works. Oh shit, I pulled everything. Floodgates open tomorrow. Well, I guess this is a good opportunity to talk about the fact that the floodgates don't open instantly. We see this at major patches, but it will also be quite predominant tomorrow, I would guess. That just because it's Season 1 doesn't mean everything instantly starts flying off the shelves. One thing that has to be remembered is that people need to get the gear before they do anything with it. The only slight thing is like consumables to go and get the gear in the first place. So like potions, for example. Potions and flasks are usually a little bit of an exception to this. Food buffs, that sort of stuff. Things that are going to help you go get the gear in the first place. But gems, enchants, spell threads, armor kits, all of those sorts of markets, there's often a little bit of a staggered delay on those, as players need to go get the gear first. It's not an instant day one boom. And so also please be aware of this if you've bought materials, if you've invested in stuff. Markets don't flip and change on their head literally overnight. It can sometimes take weeks before the oversupply of materials from pre-season actually gets fully consumed. And we really start to notice the lack of people farming. That's a process that can take days, if not weeks sometimes. It's not instant. So if your markets go to shit tomorrow because everybody dumps their load on the auction house, don't worry about it too much. What you're more interested in is trying to keep your eyes on not how much turns up randomly, but how much you suspect of that is actually new stock compared to people just, you know, trying to flip stuff. It's hard to do, but the pattern is usually pretty similar every major patch, every expansion. The pattern's usually the same. Players spend a lot of time in the pre-season farming shit up, doing some gold making, doing the 2x4 skinning, gathering cloth, doing some herbing mining. You know, players have got nothing else to do. Or a lot of players have got nothing else to do. But all of those players who have casually been making, you know, 10, 20, 30,000 golds worth of materials an hour, when all of those players casually stop doing that, they head off into their Mythic Plus. They head off into their raids. They go blast through their higher tier delves. They go into their PvP. They're distracted by other shinies, and simultaneously they also start looking at buying stuff to upgrade the gear that they get as well. So it's a bit of a seesaw effect often. Right, in true form, this last knowledge point item is oh no shit, have I already, oh my god, is that it? Oh my god, I've had it for ages in my bags and nobody told me. Alright, we're good. Well, let's grab this because we're here. Why this stream title? Was there a ban wave? Yes. Not for anything over goblin-y though. There were a few people that have been caught in the crossfire, mind. It was Renown related. Mythic Plus and Mythic is not till next week. Mythic Plus is the big driver. Maybe. It's definitely a driver. I wouldn't confidently quote it's the main, but it's definitely a factor. Why do I not have my... Where is he? My yak boy. Get rid of some of this trash. Do you know where the Bismuth lockboxes are being bought at 3k? Saw some people in trade chat looking to buy them at that price. Well, I don't know if it's been hotfixed or not, but they have level 70 twink gear in them. There's like 545 item level 70 BOEs. I think my suspicion is the BOEs that pop out of them are just wrong. I don't think they're meant to be level 70. I think they're meant to be level 80. Because 545 gear is like, you know, a lot. A lot. Most people ding level 80 before they're 545 geared. So to get that gear at level 70, it's pretty wild. I think the loot in the lock boxes is just bugged. I need my alchemy gear. I've not made my alchemy gear. I probably, let's have a look at this. I probably don't want to spend the moon on this sort of stuff, but profession equipment, alchemy, current expansion. I need a robe, I need a hat, and I need a mixing rod. Scribblers, leatherworkers, tailors. Okay, I need the assistance of other people here. Forewarning, if you have the ability to make any of these 3 items and you're already in the guild, now's maybe a good time to log on those characters. Right, let's see what we need here. Let's just do them one at a time. I'll go buy the mats.
I have an extended supply of goods for outlanders.
Ley line residue. Artisan security, some bolts. Some shards. Right, that's my alchemy robe, mat-wise. Didn't cost too much. Get the easy ones out the way first.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable.
Oops. Master Wilder Cloth. Is this the one? No. No, which one is it? Shit, that one. That's the one. Guild. There's got to be people that can quality 5 that, surely. It's easy business, right? Surely? Tailors? Chest pieces? Max materials? That's got to be quality 5, innit? It's got to be. Guild order go. Right, what's the next one? Professional equipment. Whoa, hello. Alchemy. Nerubian alchemy hat.
My thanks for your paper. My directive is to serve you.
People finding raid recipes from the 600 Artisan security bag is utterly ludicrous. It's funny. I find it funny. I mean, that is literally the definition of gamba gamba. There's no way to sugarcoat that one. That is absolutely gambling with your level 70 alts in the hope that you pull something worthwhile.
My directive has been fulfilled.
I wasn't having none of that.
I have an extended supply of goods for outlanders.
Use max across the board. Right, that'll do. Who makes these? Leatherworkers. Surely a leatherworker can bang one of those out.
Return.
Then the rod. Rodney. Alchemist's mixing rod. I also need to think about this for a second. I'm going to need...
My things.
What am I going to need on this? Multicraft to the hills, right?
I have calibrated my prices to
Let's
be
make sure we
reasonable.
buy the right... Sheesh, Louise! These are not cheap. 30k just for the ciphers. Damn, son. Another 50k just for the codified greenwood. Sheesh! That's poor taxed me, that has. It's hardcore poor taxed me. God, I regret my decision now using these quality 3 mats.
My directive is to serve you. My thanks for your patron. I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable.
Somebody's reset the flipping price on these, that's why. What else do I need? I need enchant tool. I'm gonna need the resourcefulness enchant, one of them. And we're gonna need missive. Missive of resourcefulness, one of those. No. No. Missive of multicraft. That was nearly a tragic mistake, wasn't it? Thanks for the 30k. What are you selling the ciphers with?
My directive is to serve you.
Professional equipment, alchemy tools, mixing rods, guild order, one of them. Okay. Get at it, guild. Get at it. Get at it.
My directive has been fulfilled.
I didn't actually check if there was anybody in the guild that could make those. I was just kind of half assuming that they probably could. Let's have a quick look at the leatherworking one. Leatherworking, the hat. There's a... Oh! Apparently I'm one of the ones in the guild that can make that. Okay, that puts it in the hands of 2 people. Oh, one of which has just come online. We could be in business here. Could be in business on the hat. I can't remember what the other ones were. I'll come back to those in a minute. Thinking, brain, thinking. I'm gonna need to save that for when the tool comes through. Oh, we have a hat. We have a hat. My chat log says we have a hat. Thank you very much. Appreciate the hat. That's 1 out of 4. 1 out of 3, sorry. Did I check my Patron orders for Alchemy? I don't think I did I? I got too distracted running off doing weekly business. How much Artisan security is that going to leave me on? 185? Oh my god, I am so far behind with Artisan security on this character. So far behind. What's that? 750 in total, and I've got 185. I'd need 500 Artisan security out of thin air. I mean, how aggressively do I want... How aggressively do I think I want those 30 knowledge points? Full aggressive. Maximum aggression. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Alright, I'll contemplate it. Well, in fact, if I'm going to do it, today's the day to do it, isn't it? Because it all resets tomorrow. Christ on a bicycle. Am I willing to do a mediocre shuffle this late in the day on Alchemy just to put it in the runnings at least to make some Q3 flasks tomorrow? How many points? Hang on. I got one. What do you need? You need 200 plus 300 plus 400. I've got... But you get 50 back for each one. But you only... which means I actually only get 100 back. Which means I only need 800. Minus the 185 I've currently got. Oh, fuck me. I need like 600 Artisan security. That's not even possible, is it? I'm pretty convinced that's not even possible. Even off a full shuffle. So I might not be... Well, I full shuffle today and then I full shuffle again tomorrow. That's not fun, is it? Done engineering first crafts on that one. That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm not sure I have. Where's my... I'm just referring to my little tracker that I haven't actually updated for ages. So it's probably not doing a great job of tracking anything. What character is this? Penny Silvers. I don't think I've done the engineering shuffle on this character. In fact, I'm almost convinced I haven't done the engineering shuffle on this character. That's 130-ish knowledge points, isn't it? Plus work orders. It's 200. It's possible. I'm just not sure I want to waste more gold. I've been telling people for weeks that it's not worth doing this anymore. I'm partly thinking I should listen to my own advice. You have a delve skill? I think it's one I've already used. Okay. I don't think I'm going to push with Alchemy. I know it's uber competitive. I know people have already done it. Imagine listening to your own advice. Exactly. Exactly. Since I've got Inscription leveled, what's this looking like? Oh my god, there's points for days over here though. Do as I say, not as I do. Hey, you guys are learning. You guys are learning.
Do you have a query? May rook nor ram take you far?
Okay. Okay. Let's fill some of these out, because this is 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. There's 100 knowledge points plus here. 100 artisan security plus here. And I've got the profession, so there's absolutely no reason to not do this one. I've just spent 100k on getting my fucking profession gear in order, so I probably should, shouldn't I? Right, I need some inks, I need some ciphers, I need some scribbly bits and bobs. Let's get some scribbly bits and bobs. Ink. Grab you. Probably going to need more than that. Ciphers. Okay, that's really not a lot of those either, is it? What's the other one? That's not that one. that I clearly don't have any of. Ink, ciphers, spores we're going to need some more of, but maybe we got some of those already. Start with the big ones. That's what she says. Jewel crafting. You even gave me the cipher. How good of you. Yeah, I got the faction one because it's City of Dornogle, Council of Dornogle. Sorry. There's a good chance, actually, on this character that I'll have a bunch of patron orders on some of the other... Oh, this might be possible, you know. This might be possible. Without too much pain. Lure drop pigments, nacreous pigments, distilled water. Oh, where did my fella go? Oh, he ran away. Pigments... Lure drop, nacreous, in case we need some of that. What's that water stuff called? Distilled water or something? Do I not have any?
I have an extended supply of goods for Outlanders.
Now we do. What are we missing? Oh my god, concentration. Also, the weekly dirt knowledge points, 600 should be doable. It's doable. It's, yeah, it's close enough that I might give it a go. I absolutely don't want to be using quality 3s here. Oh, I don't have the recipe. Inquisitor's Crutch. Where does this come from? Oh, I've just not learned the recipe.
Your command. Resume work cycle.
Oh, wait, hang on. No, wrong one.
We are the
Whoops.
Titan's bedrock and foundation.
You want it at Q3? Oh, I don't want to be paying those sorts of prices. Let's use some concentration on that instead. Missing ink set. Lord have mercy, I'm not prepared. You is not prepared. Third time lucky? Ooh, cheeky. Nearly stole my Q3s there. Wants it at Q2. That'll do. Okay, that's not bad, you know. What about these? Missives at Q3s. I am a million miles away from missives at Q3s. Even with concentration, that's not happening anytime soon. Aha, wild wife appears. Please, old boys and girls, back in 2. Righty. Righty. Back to the shuffle. I cannot believe I'm flipping shuffling yet more professions. This is actually bananas. Actual B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Where did we get to? I was looking at missives, wasn't I, and deciding that these are not happening in a month of Sundays. I would need quality 3 ciphers and inks to get anywhere near. And then I would still need concentration, so that's probably not happening. And these are both quality 3s. So, boo-hoo, that one's not working. Did I... It's not on my list. God, I hope there isn't an inscription weekly over here. Doesn't look like there is. Oh no, Angari Scribe Journal. Maybe there is. Oh no. Ah, this isn't retroactive. Shit. Okay. Okay. We're going to fudge the books. It's fine. We fudge the books. Shit. Who's my actual scribe? Donut Balls is my actual... No, Donut Balls is not my actual scribe. Bezo Bucks is my actual scribe. What a casual. Unbelievable, right? Did you manage to buy up trillions of gleaming shards before anybody else did with the new announcement? No, I didn't. No. If in doubt, doctor the books. What we do is we send ourselves some fake orders. Crafting orders. Oh no, we've actually got to go to the crafting order station, don't we? Yeah, I could have probably done some public orders for books or something, but we can fudge it this way. Let's go. Ink. Make me an ink. Make me an ink. No. What? We're not dishing out top tier materials. Get out of here. Personal order. Penny silvers. 1 commission. No, don't piss away my fancy ass. Oh, is it only 2? Is it 2 or 3 orders? I'm going to assume it's 2. If it ends up being 3, I'm going to cry. If it is 3, we'll have to look for a public one. What flask would you pick for rank 3? I can't decide. Be greedy. Be greedy. Make the flask that you need yourself. If you need it yourself, you know others are also going to need it. Make the flask you need for yourself. Make your own flasks. Sell the best. Easy solution. One order. Okay. That's inscription pretty much done then, if we go hand that in. Is there anything else I can be doing on inscription on this character before we drop it? I don't think there is there?
You wish to speak? Winds be at your back.
Let's make sure we learn the knowledge points though, mind. I've tripped up on that before. Make sure there's no knowledge points lying about. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can drop Inscription in favour of picking up something else now. How far did that get us? Where's our Artisan's acuity? 195? No way we only got to 195. Ah, now we're talking. That was a lot of orders, actually, to be fair. Okay, that's got us at 315. 315. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. Can I comfortably drop Inscription now? Learned all the knowledge points, harvested the patron orders. I think we can. We can get the first Alchemy book. Where'd it go? One down, two to go. 165 out of 300 for the next one. Okay. While I'm not entirely sure I've done this all that much on stream, you'll actually get a little insight here today of exactly what I did do on a bunch of characters. Doing this late in the day is ridiculous, but I just want my alchemy finished. So we unlearn this. And I'm going to start with the gathering ones because they're free minus time. So we pick up skinning. We now have 5, 6, 7 knowledge points to harvest here. We have the turn-in quest, and we have a knowledge book. Do we have a? We must have a knowledge book for skinning in our bags. That's leatherworking. Yeah, we do have a skinning one. Right, let's go do some skinning real quick. Do we? Let's maybe go try and find some bees, shall we? See if we can go leech some bees real fast. Welcome in, Rose. Welcome in, welcome in. I was actually using your little Thaumaturgy Miro board yesterday. Very helpful little tool. I don't have a Thaumaturgy Alchemist, but it did give me some good insights for material flip. So even without the profession, it was very useful. Just as a nice visual reminder of what turns into what. Luckily, I'm good at maths, and so I didn't need the profession to figure out when it was profitable or not. So, yoink. What people getting banned for? Which rep was the exploit? It was the severed threads. The TLDR was that if you were running multiple accounts at a time, you were probably gaining a multiple of the amount of reputation you should have done, and Blizzard have pretty blanket banned anybody that engaged in it, whether it was deemed really an whether it was deemed that you truly exploited it or whether you just accidentally did it, which is why it feels a little heavy-handed, but I've just realised I'm level 73. I am not suited for this adventure. I am not suited for this adventure at all. Maybe we need to go kill some slightly easier beasts. Feels like Frog Day all over again. Did you frog? Did you thread? You a filthy threader. That's a hard 2 words to say. filthy threader. I'm probably not going to see much success leeching off a group here, other than quite genuinely actually just leeching like this. If this warlock wants to boost me, get me some skin real quick. There we go, there's our first toughened pelt. I usually get to skill 100 before I get all the weekly quests with skinning though. Oh no, now you've run away. It's level 8 shredding anyway. Doesn't need my help. Do we think he's pulled more than he's capable of here? Oh god. I'm not pulling aggro on that. You can get bent. Oh no, he dead. He dead. He overextended. Back it up. Far west of Hallowfall, Easy Beasts. Yeah, that's my sort of semi-go-to. I was kind of half hoping there'd be like a substantial... I play on Draenor, so I was kind of hoping this place would be absolutely packed full of groups killing this stuff anyway. And I could just run around and leech shit. That's worked for me in the last few days. I'm obviously not going to get an invite to a group because I'm level 73. But I was kind of hoping that people would be killing all the same. Bottom right corner of Ashkahet. I've not tried that little farming spot actually. I've not tried that one myself, but I've heard good things. This is surely going to end up being like a 70 to 80 boosting thing, isn't it? I know we're probably not at that stage of the game yet where like level boosts... Oh my god, literally one-shot me. Where level boosts are a big thing. But I'm pretty sure once people get some gear, they will be nuking this zone. And the fact that they're all elites, I suspect 70 to 80 level speed in this area could get pretty wild. I've only had one on my knowledge points so far though. This is cool and all. It's a bit risky. I don't know if killing elites have a higher chance of getting the knowledge point. Oh, I'm pretty sure they don't. I'm virtually convinced they don't. We'll go kill using our own steam for a few minutes. How we doing, Woo? Welcome in. Anybody know of a Crossrail profession guild that I can join in order to get my profession tools crafted reliably? Well, it's interesting you do say. It's interesting you do say. If only there was such a guild. If you are Horde, and you are in Team EU, no refunds, their doors are open. Well, in fairness, if you're Horde or Alliance, it's much easier to get in if you're Horde because Blizzard are stupid. You can search for no refunds. Probably, at this point, has some of the sweatier of goblins in here, I would guess. And anybody in the guild can invite, so just whisper me or anybody else. $12 null stones for my daily crafting? 12 null stones? Go on. Big numbers. Yeah, markets seem to be weirdly stable. Not that I've looked at too many in too much detail today. Weirdly stable. Tomorrow, I think it's all going to be mental though. Given how I've done 60 tunes so far, somebody calculate the chance of nullstone from chaos. I'm not even sure what that works out as. Surely you make more off the nullstone than you do off the transmute, right? Isn't that... Isn't the... Isn't your... Yeah. Nullstones are what? 3k a piece? Oh, tier 3 lure drops. Yeah, they're money. Yeah, they're easy money there. $186 lure drops, 190 Orbinid. Hey, it's not bad. Putting those alts to use. I think once I've got one of every profession leveled up, like properly leveled up, I might start looking at a few other deliberate profession builds. A thaumaturgy alchemist seems almost necessary at this point. Probably quite going to set one of those up quite quickly. Easy to say that the main money in that is probably gone already, and I've even seen some people QQing that it wasn't worth in the first place. But I just suspect they're not good at maths. Much like prospecting, it's profitable if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're running in blind, you're definitely going to have problems. I would kind of quite like another couple of jewel crafters. Now that I've got prospecting like basically min-maxed, it'd be nice to have a couple of characters that are spec'd into certain things just to sort of use some more of the prospecting materials in-house, so I'm not directly just selling everything. Tend to believe the longer the chain, the more valuable that chain can become. So I mean, you're basically saving your auction house fee at each step of the chain, but also things like resourcefulness and multi-craft start to explode in usefulness. For example, like in Inscription, if you mill things, that's one step of the chain. If you're just milling the herbs, into the pigments. Second step is then making them into inks. Third step is then taking those inks and putting them into something like ciphers. Fourth step is then using those ciphers on something constructive. Usually, every step in that chain, you can extract some profit at least. Personally focus on 4 characters for Inscription, even manages to get the names ink, milling, contract and other. Lord, nice and descriptive. Can I explain what the shuffle is? Well, there are many forms of the shuffle. The one I'm going to assume you're talking about is the Artisan's Acuity shuffle, where you cycle through professions on a single character, gaining as much Artisan's Acuity from each one as you can before moving on to the next. And you rinse and repeat until you have enough Artisan's Acuity. Oh, I've just realised Patty doesn't have Growl on. There we go. Spent 2.2 mil, made 300k back. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I'm not going to tell you how much I've spent. It's probably not as big as some people out there, but it's certainly not a small number. I also don't have a billion alts to generate this revenue back. It's starting to look a little bit scary, if I'm honest. But I enjoy it, so I don't care. It's good fun. What would you use the Artisan's Acuity for if you miss out on the knowledge points for the professions? Can you send it to other characters? No. This is why once you've got enough, you've got enough. You do it until you have enough. You then stop doing it because it's not cheap and it's not. It's pretty time consuming. You do it until you have enough and then you stop. As a non-English speaker, what's the difference in pronunciation for gloom chittin and gloom shittin? Well, apparently it's actually pronounced chitin, which is the first, or at least if you like run it through Google, Google says it's pronounced chitin. It's a K rather than a C. But, you know, say it however you wish. Oh, you don't want to play? Are you kiting me? Yeah. Oh, hang on. Now you're coming to play. What's going on here? As anybody who is a non-native English speaker, for many years, I didn't really get it, right? I lived in the world of ignorance, like blissful ignorance when it came to the English language. I never really truly understood how ludicrously stupid the English language is until I moved to a foreign country and married a foreign wife. And now, on a frequently, nearly daily basis, I either have the conversation or people point out to me just how fucking stupid English really is. The fact that we have words and we have rules for those words, but we seem to ignore them whenever we choose to. Which makes very little sense. And it's usually to do with pronunciation. Spelling's not much better, but the pronunciation of said words is just as crazy. And then when you think English is bad, there's an American version of it. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Woo to the rescue. Pronunciation of chitin with a hard K, as in kite, stems from Greek origin. In Greek, the letter chi is pronounced as a hard K. similar to K in English, since chitin comes from the Greek word chiton, I guess. The initial sound was carried over as a chi when it entered other languages. Well, there we go. There we go. If in doubt, blame the Greeks. Stupid, like, see the ancient Greek or Latin or something stupid. It's all Greek to me, exactly. Do you think the professions need one oopsie respec? If you don't know what you're doing in YOLO, you can brick them easy. I was convinced they were going to do something of that nature for the War Within, but they didn't. So I do kind of think that an oopsie I done goofed respec option wouldn't be a terrible idea. But what we don't know yet, because it's still only technically week 2 of the expansion, is we don't know how impactful or how useful the catch-up system's going to be. If patron orders start absolutely spewing knowledge points at people who are quote-unquote behind, you, in theory, in a few weeks' time, could comfortably make a new character, level the profession, and just make a full build. Honestly, this hurts. Holy shit. If the catch-up system is even remotely useful, later on in the expansion, if you make an oopsie, you just level that profession again on another character. I'm somewhat of the belief that we've been able to level to max builds so fast that knowledge points is really not going to be the same problem it was in Dragonflight long term. There's slightly more knowledge points in most spectres in the War Within, but we already seem to be gaining knowledge points at about 3 times the rate we did in Dragonflight. So you'll be able to correct any errors much faster. And soon it'll be at the point where you'll just completely be able to overcome and just, like, from word go, gain enough knowledge points to min-max a build. So I think the entire system is just, you know, switched on to 11 right now. I think everything's just very fast. The fact that Dawn Gatherers have to have shuffled to avoid waiting 27 weeks is whack and a terrible design. Yeah, I think the I think Gathering needs an adjustment regarding Artisan's acuity. I think it would have been absolutely fine if they hadn't very, very last minute yoinked all of the Artisan's acuity from first time gathers. That was literally a 11:59 change. And it's really made Gathering feel a little out of balance compared to everything else. It's one of the byproducts of making very, very last minute hotfixes, that there were knock-on repercussions other places. And there's no way that Gatherers are meant to be getting like 20 knowledge points a week when Crafters even are getting more. And you arguably would expect Gatherers to be able to get more knowledge points and work towards their professions faster than Crafters. Because it's just a time investment, right? But equally, we don't know how potent the catch-up system's going to be for Gathering. That what if you just spend 10 hours doing herbalism and mining? Do you end up with 20 extra knowledge points because you get, like, once an hour you'll get an extra bonus knowledge point or something. You don't know. I'm not totally convinced enough people have publicly done enough gathering to really showcase this, and I reckon the ones that are doing an awful lot of gathering are keeping it to themselves behind the scenes, even if they are. Do you think they over-nerfed the Dawn and the Duskweave drops? No. No. Dawn and Duskweave isn't actually used in a lot. It's not used in a huge amount. It's barely used in anything that's like hyper mass produced. It's mostly only really used in like, it's funneled towards endgame gear crafts. Now I know it has other uses, other places, but it's a lot more modest. I don't think it was over nerfed. I think it was just dropping far too frequently before, which is the same problem, just in the other direction. I think it was broken how many people were getting to begin with. There was no way you should have been getting hundreds of that damn stuff every hour, considering it's meant to be a rarer material that you know, have to choose to spec in to get, and then you want there to be some reason for you to spec into it more so to get more of it. When you were getting so much of it and it was 5 gold a piece, then what was the point? Isn't tailoring just gimped forever? No. Tailoring's in one of the best positions. Tailoring's got so many options, so many places it can excel in. It can cover the slack of farmers not farming by the fact that you can unravel cloth into spools and make bolts. You then turn those bolts into intermediate bolts, and you can choose to specialize into that, and you can do it en masse. And you can provide those materials en masse to people who are doing the daily cooldowns, which is another market all in of itself, which has initial setup costs and is perfect for those people that don't want to have to aggressively play their professions but want to be able to log in periodically, press a few buttons, make a little bit here and there. You've then got the bag markets. Every single person out there that's serious about playing with their professions is going to want a profession bag. They may not have been the most highly sought after things so far, but that's because there's a shitload of stuff for you to spend Artisan security on before you prioritize getting the bag. But tailors have got it good from every angle. Oh, and that's before we consider the fact that in the very near future, they're going to be the #1 supplier of enchanting materials. So they're yeah, tailors are cooking. They got it good. They're eating well. Oh yeah, and they make cloaks, by the way. A piece of gear that absolutely everybody might want. It's not a single player in the game that potentially might not want the cloak. Thanks for the stream. Good content for the exercise bike. Oh, there's a theory. Maybe I could hook up my exercise bike to my desk and I could do exactly the same. We could cycle together. That never happening. Do get it, but even on a hyperspawn location, about an hour only gave me 30 of each. Yeah, but your means of comparison was how much you got before when it was broken. Just look at what just look at what Dawnweave and Duskweave actually goes into and what's actually used for. There was a reason. There was a really strong reason to why it was 4 gold apiece previously, because you did not need to be getting hundreds of it every hour. It realistically doesn't matter all that much how much of it you get per hour if the price is significantly more per item. It will ultimately balance out. Farmers need not worry. You all are going to piss off and go do other things in the game soon anyway. So, as soon as the season launches, most people put their farming boots down. Most people are like, there's far more interesting things in the game to be doing. Oh shit, where's my pet gone? That was not a good time to revive my pet, was it? Did we craft profession equipment to disenchant? What are your production costs down to? And what equipment are you focused on? Well, blacksmiths were making hammers using bismuth, turning it into core alloys first. That was the number. That was, or well, technically still is, the #1 way to get your dust. Woo, I'm going to assume you're aware of the incoming crystal shatter. So that will actually push the emphasis onto tailors, presumably, to make cheap blues, which will be basically the cost of 2 bolts to make a crystal, a shard, which will then in turn be able to be shattered down into dust. We're not sure of the rates yet. It's an incoming hotfix soon, TM. An additional enchanting recipe. So it's basically going to be in the hands of tailors for the most part. Shards have gone up massively in price because of it. We might see a bit of a swing on cloth short term because of it as well. A bunch of tailors spin up their operations and start consuming some significantly more cloth, turning into dust. That is, of course, until either blacksmithing or leatherworking potentially end up with a maybe even cheaper option. If the cloth goes up too much, it wouldn't be outrageous to think that leatherworking with its leather might claim the title. But cloth gear is always the cheapest to produce. I can usually... I'm min-maxed on ingots, and I'm happy to share numbers. It's 10 bismuth per alloy. And it's only 1 alloy per hammer. So, with multi-craft, with resourcefulness, with all said and done, I think you're looking at the cost of about 7 bismuth per craft. Was the number that's in my head. Not that I've done a huge amount of it. But like I said, I'm pretty convinced the responsibility is going to get moved over to tailors. It's also questionable if blacksmiths will want to use ever-burning ignition on mass-producing core alloys. I mean, I'm sure they will, but for how long is the question, because it does actually consume Artisan security. But I equally suspect that players are going to be flooded with the stuff before too long. So maybe it won't be a buff that's too costly to keep up and running. Or maybe not something that you reserve only the higher tier ingots, depending on what you're doing as a blacksmith. Cheap cloth's already up by 30 gold. What, like your basic weaver cloth? One artisan security is not really much of a problem since you get lots of AA from shuffling or just doing work orders. Yeah, you say that, but it only lasts 10 minutes. You churn through 6 an hour, which if you're crafting alloys, if you're doing it en masse to get your proper averages out, you're quite probable to chunk through it pretty quickly. And if you know, you're right, work orders are going to give you piss buckets loads of it if you're not spending it on anything else. I mean, it's clear that the expectation is that you're going to have a shitload of artisan security eventually, because, well, there's those 600 artisan security bags that everybody's been gamble with recently. So it's a clear intention that they plan for us to have more of it than we know what the hell to do with. I mean, look at it this way: players have been able to get over 2,000 of it in just a couple of weeks, enough to max out their professions real fast. If you not that you'll keep up at that pace, because that pace wasn't necessarily free, but how many of these things have I got? 5. I'm waiting on the epic one. Get off. Come on, give me the epic one, so we can be done with skinning. Oh, never lucky. Damn you, game. I got a ton of extra knowledge skinning today after the epic one, and then it suddenly stopped. Is it some sort of catch-up? Yes. Yes, that's likely an indication that you haven't done some skinning on that character. Maybe at all ever. This is not good, is it? Me pet's dead. If me pet's dead, that means I'm dead. That's usually how this works. Last time I read chat. Oops. Well, we've only died once, which is, for me, a minor miracle. They were going to add a vendor that sells mats for acuity. Oh, it's already in. It's just random bags. They cost 600 artisan security, and you get a random bag full of materials. I can't realistically imagine that they'll ever be what you'd consider profitable. Mostly down to the fact that 600 artisan security is not really that free to get. And whilst the materials you get in them now are you can often get quality 3 materials and recipes and stuff, but the bag's value long term is going to basically be nothing. They're profitable if you get a raid recipe from before. I wouldn't even say they're profitable even if you get a raid recipe at this point. Tomorrow everybody's going to have them. And more importantly, there's already a shitload of them on the auction houses anyway. If you look hard enough, you can find one today. It's of no surprise that they accidentally left those raid recipes on that loot table, though. No surprise to me whatsoever. The profession system in the War Within has been incredibly random. Even doing very carefully calculated... There's my abyssal fur, lovely. Even doing very carefully calculated stuff, you've then often been at the mercy of patron orders. Which, the very first thing I said when I saw patron orders was like, wow, these look really random. Is there any way for rep catch up, or is it just the weekly world quests and rare grinds? I'm not sure, you know. I suspect once the season launches, I reckon killing raid bosses and stuff is likely to give us rep. I reckon there'll be more options and stuff available to us. Not really sure. Not sure. Hang on, the wife's calling. Please hold. Okay, where do we get to?
I have many lucky doos. You like?
Sell the junk items.
Farewell, friend of the
We should have a skinning turn-in quest. Where's skinning gone? Skinning turn-in. Have some of those mats we just farmed up. Do we have a knowledge book? We had it in our bags from leveling Inscription a while back, so we'll use that. That's now skinning min-maxed as far as I'm aware. Thanks, skinning. Your time was well spent. But your time here is done. Nice. Now the question is do I pick another gathering profession and do those first? Because it's the arguably farmed it so it's free artisan acuity. And then with whatever we are remaining, we can do actual profession shuffles. Do we pick herbalism? Or do we pick mining? Let's do mining because we're right here.
The coreway must be protected. Return if you wish to speak again.
Right, so mining's now 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 knowledge points. 12 times 5, 60. Another 60 artisan security up for grabs with mining. Obviously, it's a little bit of gold making at the same time. It's almost the opposite of free when you actually get something to sell out the back end of it. Is there an optimal route? Not really. Not really. I would recommend doing the stuff that might cost you time but allow you to at least make some gold first, like the gathering stuff, because I mean, the reality is I probably wouldn't recommend anybody be doing this anymore, as it's unlikely if you have not, especially if you have not started. The only reason I'm doing this is because I'm kind of at the tail end of it and I just want to get it finished. But if you haven't started your professions, you are, wow, a nullstone, like literally off my first one. That's funny. There's a strong chance that there's not even enough artisan security out there for you to actually quote unquote finish it. I'm only doing this now because there's the potential for me to actually get my last 2 books with what's available to me, and I'm just trying to do it in this price conscientious a way as possible. Whoa, what the Christ on a bicycle's going on down here? Well, this is clearly the new farm then. Damn, son. Incoming cheap leather prices. These can't be skinned though, can they? These are considered humanoids. This is arguably a cloth situation, right? It's the new cloth Darkmoon one. Oh dear. Who's there? Well, okay, that's a little ridiculous. Well, this is the way farmers do farming things. As soon as there's a bit of a need for materials all of a sudden. I hate that the only way to play goal making is about exploiting in one way or another. Well, not really. There is a natural correlation between trying to find an advantage over other players. Now, obviously, what you have to be aware of is that players need to learn to toe the line. You know, depends how thirsty you are for that advantage. As long as you are obtaining your advantage by legitimate means, you do you. If you fall into the category of exploitation to gain your advantage, then you deserve everything you get. And in a video game, unfortunately, people do their own thing. Duskweave bolts and reagents skyrocketed. What happened? Crafters are gearing up their operations. The price of materials is usually related, at least in somewhat, to the supply of them and the demand of them. Both crafters have geared up their operations in preparation for season launch. Secondly, cloth has, or the more popular cloth farms have been changing quite frequently. Likely causing materials to do wild things over the next few days. Damn. It ran away.
In this season, the Unbound adorn their ramoliths with flowers, symbolizing harmony and their gratitude for nature's gifts.
Ah, the flipping ore keeps disappearing from right under my nose. Got that one. Have we had any of our weeklies, actually? What are they called? I can't remember what they're called. Slabs of something? I should know by now. I've done this countless times on countless characters. Slabs of slate? Have I done mining on this character before? No. First 25 skill points in mining are a real grind because you are, well, herbalism the same actually, because you never have enough vigor. It's almost worth doing it with old school flying, just so you don't have to worry about vigor. But once you get 25 points, you unlock the node that gives you the 1 vigor every time you mine something. Oh, an ink. Money. What's your prediction of ore and herbs price? I never predict prices. It's a bit of a rule of mine. I try to avoid ever predicting on prices. Anybody that predicts on prices is just spinning you some snake oil. What I can share is some experience in what markets tend to do in terms of sort of supply and demand. What you tend to find is that herbs and ore are very aggressively farmed in pre-season because nobody's got anything else better to do. And as soon as all the good stuff, all the juicy content turns up, a lot of those people who spend the first couple of weeks farming stuff stop farming things. And that has a bit of a reduction in the supply of new materials. But what you do need to account for is that there's a big heavy supply of materials from those 2 weeks that need to go somewhere and be consumed by somebody. You usually find that with a launch of a season, your enchants, your gems, your armor kits, your consumable items are going to see an increase in demand. People are going to want more of them. People are going to want to get that good gear and then make it even better. But it's often takes a little bit of a smarter guess than to try and work out if there's already enough of a supply of a material to meet the demand, or whether more of it is going to need to be produced or farmed. And if there's ever a shortage, then you start seeing prices rise. But that it needs to be somewhat natural. What you will often find is that goblins will do goblin things and manipulate the shit out of the numbers to keep people confused. This is often done by people buying large quantities of materials and then just sitting on them for a while. Painting the picture that, you know, oh shit, loads of this material is disappeared. It must have been used. It must be it must be running out. Price must be rising. It often creates a chain reaction chain reaction of other people then buy a bunch of stuff because they assume it's running out. And then once the price does rise, you'd be amazed just how quickly half of it turns back up on the auction house. For anybody that's ever tried to reset a market, you'll know that there's usually 5 times the amount of anything just lying about in people's bags, ready to go back on the auction house when needed. Which for most people means that any sort of speculation on materials is basically a flip of a coin. Buy some mats if you need them. Don't spend more ore than you need than you can afford to lose. And you can play it relatively safe. Or go full on gangster and buy the entire market and YOLO it. But you do you. Overloaded one of the explosive ones, got killed hard. Yeah, they're fun. Yeah, they really do go boom when they go boom. Have I not got a single one of the knowledge point items yet? Oh dear, we could be mining for a little while at this point. I need 25 skill at the bare minimum just so I can get rid of this vigor problem. Oh, it's another go boom one. Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. We got it. Did you see my note about the dual crafting leveling section in the Goblin Guide? Yeah, I'm almost willing to completely take that route out. Mostly because you shouldn't be leveling in a self-sufficient manner at this point in the expansion. That was really only for the first few days of the expansion. And actually, since writing that, the Incanter's Shard, I think it was, recipe changed. So yeah, there's borderline absolutely no reason you shouldn't just buy the mats off the auction house if leveling dual crafting now. You're going to the auction house to buy ore. You might as well, instead of buying ore, buy a few more components and just have it job done. And it'll probably be cheaper as well now. But yeah, once things slow down a little bit, I'll have a little bit more time to update and polish off some square edges in the guide. I have a little bit of a laundry list of things that aren't strictly wrong, but of things I want to get changed. Lots of updates to come to the guide as well. I've got some pretty strong feedback on the guide over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, people's perception on the guide before the expansion launched has very clearly been very different to those people who have picked it up after launch. Now I understand that the concept of the way I wrote the guide and the info that's in it is information that is less valuable the longer the time goes on. Because it was mostly how to level your professions day one. We're no longer in day one, and third-party resources such as Wowhead and things have definitely caught up. So there will be some updates to the guide soon. The nice thing is it's a living, breathing document. I can update things, people get the updates instantly. And more importantly, as we go from patch to patch, I can make updates as well. Where is the ore here? Not that I don't like putting my guides in video form. Obviously, that's my YouTube's my bread and butter. But it's so, well, it's not so difficult. It's impossible to update a video guide without just having to redo the whole thing, which got really kind of quite frustrating to me. Written version's much easier. Could be argued Wowhead is now second-party resource since WoW links to them in-game. Do they? Where are they linking to Wowhead in-game? They barely link to anything external in the game. Unless it's in, like... I don't even know. Yeah, if you look for help. Really? They tell you to check Wowhead first? They're outsourcing their customer service to Wowhead? God, we really are fucked. I've seen a lot of customer support posts that tell you to go check Wowhead. Really? Oh my days. I mean, I guess in most cases it's probably
With an empty
sensible.
stomach, a Ramolith has
It's
one
the
direct
Blizzard. Have you turned it on and off again, isn't it? Like,
guide this
have you
one's
at least
hunger into
did
a
you Google it?
constructive activity.
And rather than saying did you Google it, they can say did you check Wowhead. Sounds a little bit more official than did you Google it. Blizzard CS, just Google it, bro. That's it. Do you guys not even Google? Okay, I was really hoping I'd get these stone slabs with mining a touch faster than this. This is probably the slowest progress I've made on mining on any character so far this expansion. And it just so happens to be the one time I wanted it to be relatively quick because I'm also streaming. Typical, right? That's going to be somewhere annoying to get. This is the free, but slow way to gain Artisan's acuity. There's another one, go boom. Somebody's already mined it. Can I get in there before it disappears? Go on, where's my deafness when I need it? Whack it. Don't be getting banned. And nobody getting banned for shuffling. Famous last words, eh? Right, let's avoid that absolute clusterfuck over there. Hang on, where did you come from? Oh, this is in the phased area. Does that mean only people that haven't done the intro can do that little farm? That's a little instanced farm spot. That's cheeky, you know. If you've done that little, if you've done those campaign chapters, you can't do that farm. You know who loves that more than anything else? Bots. Bots absolutely love the hidden instanced farms. Where if you've completed a certain quest, you can't see it. You can do it if somebody in the party hasn't done it, turns on party. Oh, you can use party sync for it, can you? Ah, party sync. Literally the most exploitative system in the game. I cannot even begin to tell you how many bugs, glitches, and exploits are in the game because of party sync. It's literally a hacker's dream. Look at all my little crabs. Oh, finally. Shouldn't run out of vigor every 2 seconds. That's gonna hit me. And I got hit twice. We went boom. Bots are farming something right now in Revendreth. They'll always find a way. There's a channel of exploits on YouTube, and every time I watch a video, the way he does it is party sync. Yeah, party sync is literally the most broken system in the game. Considering it's used by, like, nobody ever, I'm amazed Blizzard hasn't just yoinked it. It's literally the #1 cause for exploits. You can circumvent so many of the limitations in this game with party sync, it's disgusting. It's basically been nothing but a problem ever since they added it. And I really don't think it, like... It's not an accessibility tool. It's 99 times out of 100 it's just abused for something. Is the Delve Tinderbox farm nerfed? You tell me. Go run some Delves. I don't know. I'm amazed that people consider running a Delve to gain 1 Tinderbox, like a farm, but people do crazy things. Is there a reason I'm mining on a goblin character and not a druid? Yes, because this dude is going to have mining for as long as it takes me to get my weekly knowledge points, and then we're going to drop the profession. Because he's actually an alchemist. He's an alchemist that is in desperate need of more artisan security. What's a renown that can be beneficial for tailoring? It's Council of Dornogal 12 for tailoring. We'll be doing a ton of delves from tomorrow to farm out the gear. Might end up with some tinderboxes too. I've had this opinion and I kind of stand by it. I think that the tinderboxes are a complete bubble. I think the only reason they're priced the way they are at the moment is because nobody's willing to let the price go down on them. Because they've been squirreling them away for a week plus now. I think that's the only reason that they are as valuable as they currently are. If nobody had hyped them up, they would have probably been in free fall for quite some time now. Sure, I'm not going to disagree. They're definitely used in quite some key components, but I'm also relatively convinced that there's a fair few of them already out there. Quite a lot of them already out there. They're absolutely ripe for manipulation though. Simply because they're relatively difficult to target farm. Which usually, anything that is relatively difficult to target farm is somewhat valuable by nature of that. But we'll see. We'll see. Shh, don't say that. Oh, it's a treasure defend one. I'd usually stick around for these, but my item level's too low to actually do them properly. I don't actually need these wax piles though, do I? I'm meant to be out here doing flipping. I don't need treasures. I need to be out here doing mining. I need to keep on task. Whilst I think it's a net positive to kill and collect these wax piles still, because, you know, they give you free shit, they give you resonance crystals if nothing else. It's not my primary goal. People also haven't been running delves. When everybody starts tomorrow, there's probably going to be a huge surge in supply. Yeah, people have tinkered with delves. You know, I know a lot of the people that care about gear have actively been avoiding, maybe not doing delves in their entirety, but they've certainly not been doing bountiful delves and not choosing not to use their keys because they want to use their keys on higher quality delves and so on. I know there's been quite some optimization on how to do delves, if that makes sense, which, you know, the floodgates open tomorrow on that one. But yeah, I'm relatively convinced they're still only the price they are because people have squirreled them away. I don't think we quite understand just how many tinderboxes are in existence already. Well, like I said earlier, I'm not particularly a fan of speculating on actual price, and this obviously leads me to not really be overly comfortable suggesting what people should spend their gold on in terms of investments either, for the same logic. I do think tinderboxes are a bubble. No true sight vial. Yeah, I'm not doing this for any serious amount of time to bother wasting gold on vials. This is a means to an end mining session. This is literally until we get our weekly knowledge points and then it gets dropped. That's going to be a pain to get. It's only 100 gold for 30 minutes. Well, send one to me in the mail. No, I know. I'm aware it does increase the nose and whatever. I just didn't pick one up, and I didn't really think it's that much of a deal. Ooh, we're not going there. That's B territory. That stings. Shit. Be safe, be safe, be safe, be safe, be safe. Gotcha. Right, how many we got? Still only 3. You have to be crazy to mine that area. been lots of bee jokes already, this expansion. Hang on, what's actually in this cave? Is this a seam? Have we found a seam? No. I thought for a minute there it was a seam. Hey, imperfect nullstone though, we'll take that. Oh, hello, that's a webbed one. I kind of, the only reason I'm doing the gathering ones first, though, to be honest, is the fact that I'm just trying to, this is damage limitation as far as I'm concerned. I'm not even really convinced that I might get my out, like, I'm not convinced even after doing this, I'll be overly competitive on flasks, but I at least wanted to put myself in the position to have a go. This was kind of my drive for these first couple of weeks of pre-season. I wanted to get one of every profession optimized at a task, whatever that task may be. Now, I kind of think I bit off a little bit more than I could chew, if I'm honest. I've spent an abnormal amount of time setting all of this up, and clearly nowhere near enough time recuperating the cost of doing it. But generally, it's been pretty fun. It's been an interesting journey over the last couple of weeks. Watching prices, figuring shit out, leveling the characters, getting the knowledge points, keeping up with those stupid Patron orders. What's the add-on in the top left tracking the thing? It's a week aura. Moo's knowledge point tracker. Don't go boom, don't go boom, don't go boom. Oh, that's going to make us go boom. Safe. Safe. Not safe. Not safe. Safe. Still safe. Yes. Ouch. Woof. Nearly died. Life flashed before my eyes. That's going to be a pain to get. Was it always like this for information on how things work? Like nowadays, if people want to learn about something, they go to Wowhead, Reddit, or another site. No Guild or Blizzard sites. I think pretty much 99% of it's handled third party. Blizzard posts their blogs and whatever, but there's rarely any sort of like, Blizzard will do their, this is the system and this is an overview, but you know, the rest of it's left to third parties, content creators, that sort of stuff. Back in the day we had Alakazam. Thoughtbot and Alakazam, yeah. If you wanted to check Ragnaros's loot table. I remember back when Alakazam and Thoughtbot was still a thing. I was in, that must have been like Burning Crusade type kind of time. I remember I was working for, in fact maybe we won't go into too many details, but I was in a guild with a couple of work colleagues at the time, and I introduced them at work one day to Thoughtbot. Blew their mind. Actually blew their mind. They had absolutely no idea that there was a separate website that basically documented the entire game. Felt like some sort of hacker on that day. We stood and we analysed tier sets when we were meant to be working. We worked for good company though. The products sold themselves. Ah, the consortium. I was never much into the forums. I probably had accounts, but I wasn't really active on the forums much. The closest thing to that was like when the Reddit subreddit sort of. I'm trying to remember. Gumdrops took over the subreddit at some point. I think I was in the Reddit prior to that, but mostly lurking. Just my 2 coppers. Yeah, that was pretty good back in the day.
The unbound adorn their ramoliths with flowers,
Fat loots.
symbolizing harmony and their gratitude for nature's gifts.
Fat loots is still about playing the game, by the way. Popped up in Discord the other day. Not sure he follows many streams or does any YouTube or any blogging anymore, but oh, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. There is a weird part of me that wonders what World of Warcraft would be like without doing content creation and streaming it and making guides and all that sort of stuff. I now feel as if I've done this for long enough that I can't really remember how WoW played out without doing this. Not many people in the channel will know that, like, way back in Cataclysm is when I actually started my YouTube channel, but I took a long 5, 6, 7 year hiatus from doing any content creation at all. From sort of like, I don't know, WoD to just before Shadowlands. But it's, now I've been doing this a while, I kind of can't really remember what playing the game feels like without streaming it or thinking about it from a content creation perspective. That said, you know, I did have some passive thinkings the other day that I wonder how I would have played the expansion if I didn't stream it. I wonder if I'd have done anything different. I'm not convinced I would have done, but I definitely think I don't think I'd have done anything particularly different, but I do think I'd have planned and prepared for the expansion in a very different way. Oh, what? We're still getting more slabs? Wait, I thought we already had 5 slabs. Oh, we must have only had 4. Waking up to this lame ban, playing 5 accounts through the campaign. Other Renown factions didn't have this problem. Isn't it Blizzard's mistake? Oh yeah, I've no qualms the fact that there were definitely some people that got caught in the crossfire with this one. My only recommendation to people is, you know, you can appeal it to maybe get yourself unbanned sooner. That is assuming you can actually even get to a Blizzard representative to, you know, say that all I did was multi-box the campaign. I wasn't actively trying to exploit Renown. But I equally imagine there is a problem with bans, especially when it's in waves, of that Blizzard basically turn off their inbox for a few days after they do it, I reckon. Because every man and their dog is probably doing exactly the same. I feel for you if you got caught in the crossfire. It's a bit shitty. I feel they're a little bit heavy-handed with it, considering how much of a potential there is for players to get completely caught by this, even without maybe knowing they'd even done it, which is the ridiculous thing. But unfortunately, Blizzard is too big of a company, and this is too big of a game for them to deal with absolutely everything on a one-on-one basis anymore, clearly. Yeah, it's a bit sucky. Golden, do you stream? Love your YouTube vids. Could never do 90 alts. I've wondered if Goldson's going to start streaming, you know. Although, I can tell you categorically, from experience, streaming doesn't do the best thing for your creative process. Now, I find what's the right word for this? I don't know what the right word for this is, but I tend to find my biggest problem is that when I stream an awful lot, my YouTube goes to shit. As you can clearly tell with the amount of YouTube videos I've published since the expansion's launched. I am historically not good at multitasking, and I tend to exhaust my energy resources playing the game while streaming most days, and in turn means I often have the downside of letting my YouTube slip a little bit during these busy periods. Because one thing I do try and make sure I do very strongly is remember that I'm in an absolutely blessed position to be able to do this full time, and that for me to be able to maintain that luxury, I need to make sure I don't burn myself out. Now, unfortunately, the launch of an expansion is the best time to play this game, full stop. And so I'm absolutely hooked on it at the moment. Can't put the goddamn thing down. But it is kind of meaning the YouTube is suffering a touch. I appreciate Team YouTubers watching live though. One thing I would state is that my decision to multi-stream was based upon the fact that the YouTube side of things wouldn't suffer too much, and I'm very, very surprised just how many people are willing to chill and watch the stream via YouTube, but it did take some time. There was like an adoption time, I think. There was a little period of time for people on YouTube to figure out that, oh, okay, this is the stream. I know a lot of other content creators recently have like tried multi-streaming and have very quickly shied away from it, presumably with the impression that it has a negative effect on their YouTube algorithm. I tend to try and remember that the YouTube algorithm is a thing, but it's actually people who are watching behind, you know, they're still real people that are watching behind the scenes. There's a bit of a transition period if your YouTube channel has for years and years and years just done nothing but, you know, short 10-minute videos before, you know, out of nowhere, all of a sudden starting to live stream. The content's very different. Have you ever thought about getting an editor? Oh, I mean, I've definitely thought about it. It's not so much of a It's not so much of a something I haven't thought of. It's more of a fact that I would probably be in a position. Okay, let me put it this way. I'm going to simplify this 10 times over for you. During good months, I make enough money to make this worthwhile doing. But only during the good months. That means I have good months and I have bad months. During the bad months, I barely pay myself a living wage. So, unfortunately, as lucky as I am to be able to do this full time, it still doesn't generate enough revenue for me to start hiring other people to do other stuff. So that's unfortunately not too much of an option as of right now. And moreover, my style of content, as far as YouTube is concerned anyway, doesn't really demand much editing, as you might have noticed from the videos. I tend to be what I like to consider a bit of a one-hit wonder, in terms of I will press record, I will impart some knowledge, entertain for 10 minutes, and then press stop. And that's, you know, very light editing at the best of times. So an editor isn't going to do anything to that, really. Now, an editor could, of course, take clips and smush them down into... Oh my god, I've got 2 alchemy knowledge points in my bag. Ha! Lol. Random alchemy knowledge points lying about. Yeah, of course, an editor could take the stream and smush it down to highlights or do something creative with it in that regard, but... If anybody thinks there's enough money in doing that, feel free to do it yourself. If you get big enough, maybe we'll talk about a rev split on a channel or something. Mining knowledge point book. That one. If I was to do the highlights thing, I think I'd go the Asmongold approach anyway. And let any man and their dog do it for a while. And then pick the best. But I'm not quite in that position, let's be real. Started an almost full shuffle yesterday on my scribe guide to catch up on Artisan security. I've spent about 3 hours doing it. It's miserable. Can't imagine how people have done this on 10 characters. You kind of get into the swing of things. Once you've done it once or twice, you quickly figure out where the process is. And where you can either save some time or where you can save some gold.
Many farewells.
Right, we can drop mining though now. What's our progress on knowledge points looking like? Oh my god, we're 10 short of buying the next book. We're 10 points of getting the next book. So we're 400... We're 410 knowledge points away. Sorry, not knowledge points, Artisan security away. 410 points away still. Unfortunately, gathering doesn't dish up much juice in this regard. YouTube is great because you can do picture-in-picture feature and the option to nuke the tunes. Well, yeah, this is why I think my YouTube stream has attracted not entirely an equal number of viewers, but... I think the fact that I play tunes over on Twitch and I play no tunes over on YouTube appeals to the right people. Not to throw anybody under the bus, but it's the first example that comes to mind. Like, I have no objection with Student's content whatsoever, but I fundamentally cannot watch his live stream because his choice of music gives me a headache. And so in essence, I don't really ever watch Student's stream ever. I would probably spend a lot more time in there if his choice of music didn't clash with mine. So in that scenario, you know, Student also would be a prime candidate to like multi-stream. If he wants to play his death metal rock music on stream, he can do it on Twitch, where you can be a little bit more free with your music. Is a War Within TSM profile coming soon for Patreons? I started, and I say started because it hasn't gone anywhere yet. I started deciding what I wanted to do with TSM earlier. I was tinkering with jewel crafting, putting some stuff together. It's a very slow burn because it's not going to exist until I actually need it and use it myself for a while. And only now that we're getting into the season and I'm likely to ramp up the actual crafting and selling, might I look at using TSM to do the job once and repeat it many times over. So we'll see. It's a soon TM. It will be ready. I can only share with you what I have to share. If I don't have anything to share, I can't share it. I love the YouTube streams because I can go rewatch them, and Twitch is shit for rewatching old streams. Well, YouTube has clearly got video nailed down, hasn't it? So YouTube, yeah, the fact that you can even play it back at 2x speed or scrub about and skip forward, pause it, all of that sort of stuff. YouTube definitely has an advantage. Has some advantages, should I say. Definitely got some advantages, but what you can't seem to replicate on YouTube is the community and the culture of Twitch. Twitch has a very unique culture. You end up seeing a lot of the same names in different streams, and it kind of feels more community-esque. It's nearly impossible to replicate that same feel on YouTube. YouTube is very sterile in that regards for streaming. We are people of culture. I like the YouTube streams because YouTube isn't blocked on my work laptop. Hey, well, and that. And that. Yeah, Twitch is likely going to be something that's blocked, but good luck any company out there that thinks about blocking YouTube. Right. I'm actually going to call it there for the day, boys and girls. I need to go get myself some food. The wife has just texted me to say she's made some lunch. So I'm going to go get me some nosh. Tomorrow is, of course, reset day. So we are to expect some crazy over the next few days. I think it's going to be quite fun, you know. I think it's going to be quite fun. I'm not as 100% finished with the leveling of my professions as I would like to have been. But the reality is everything apart from this alchemist, and I think my engineer, is basically free from the handcuffs of Artisan's acuity. So I think that's job well done for these first couple of weeks. Now, what that hopefully means is I'll have one of every profession nearly maxed in a position where we can just craft, sell, craft and sell, craft some more, sell some more. That's the plan, at least. And we'll see what happens, shall we? We'll see what happens. Nobody in the guild made the rest of my gear, by the way. There's two outstanding orders in the guild, by the way, for anybody that's maybe not had a little poke around their patron orders table. I might have been asking too much for people to be able to do them at quality 5. I don't know where people are with their profession gear yet, but I have an outstanding order for the alchemist's robe. That's a tailor job. And an outstanding order for the mixing rod. If people can get to them, there's a bit of a commission there for you. If not, I'll throw them out to the public tomorrow and just get them crafted at whatever levels. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, boys and girls. If you're Team NA, enjoy your downtime. Enjoy the beta testing. Team EU will catch you up tomorrow. Yeah, come say hi over on the Discord if you're not there already. Have a good day. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Peace.